produced many more happy memories of great players, great games, great clubs. One of the most famous football clubs in South America is Santos of Brazil, based in one of the largest cities in Sao Paulo state. Its fame grew because of the activities of a very special fan.
Santos Football Club is my club. As everyone knows, I started to play for Santos when I was 15. I still love the club and root for it, because all our passion for the game is focused on our team.
Pelé was still a boy when he was introduced to Santos by Valdemar de Brito, an ex-Brazilian international who was then coach of the local football team in Bauru, Pelé's hometown. De Brito had a great and beneficial influence on Pelé's early career. Pelé first played for Santos in September 1956, and his last game for the club was in October 1974. 18 years of loyal service.
I was involved with Santos Football Club for nearly 20 years. I played for them with the feet of a professional and the heart of a fan. Santos Football Club is my club.
One can say without any fear of contradiction that Pelé put Santos on the map as a world-famous team. First, they became champions of Brazil, then of South America. Then, in 1962, they played Benfica of Lisbon for the World Club Championship, a newly instituted competition just 2 years old, to be decided over 2 matches played on each of the team's home grounds. Benfica's star player was the brilliant Eusebio, and they had not long before trounced Di Stefano's Real Madrid. But that night in Benfica's Estadio da Luz, Pelé produced one of the most extraordinary performances of his career. He scored 3 goals in his side's 5-3 victory to give Santos the title of world champion. The sports writers next day were fulsome in their praise of Pelé. The word genius was used. His 3 goals were outstanding, especially one hit on the run from an acute angle when the ball was only a few feet from the byline. After this result, the fame of Santos Football Club was assured.
Close passing is one of the most important skills in football.
The deadly close passing employed by Pelé and Coutinho always struck fear into Santos's opponents. And, time and again, it struck gold. Brazil made smooth progress, winning all the games in their qualifying group, but they faced a particularly tough match in Rio's Maracanã Stadium against Paraguay. They won with the only goal of the match, scored, like so many, by Pelé. The man wearing number 10. To describe him, you'll need all your brightest adjectives. His speed was electrifying, his ball control dazzling. His shot powerful. All your brightest adjectives. He was graceful, courageous. To watch him took your breath away. He always seemed to have that extra yard of space, that extra second of time. He scored so many brilliant goals, and he set up so many goals for his teammates. Pelé the king, and like all great kings, a great servant to his team and to the game of football. Brazilian football was indeed blessed with a wealth of talent. Tostão and Pelé, Gershon, Rivellino, Jorginho, but above all, Pelé, the greatest goal scorer of all time. The basis for the successful shot at goal, especially from the set piece. It was the basis for a controversial method of taking a penalty invented by Pelé. During his run-up, he seemed to pause before shooting. During this fractional pause, he saw which way the goalie was going and then placed the ball in the opposite corner of the net. This historic event took place in the Maracana Stadium in November 1969 during a match between Santos and Vasco da Gama of Rio de Janeiro. But even using his stop-go method, Pelé's shot was very nearly saved by Vasco's goalie Andrada, and the triumph of his 1000th goal would have been postponed a little longer. He scored nearly 1,300 goals in his career as a professional footballer. It's a record which will be difficult to equal, let alone surpass. Not because modern standards of attacking play are inferior, but because defensive systems are now much more efficient. The number 10 is closely linked to the image of Pelé as a genius, the greatest player ever, athlete of the century, the king of football. As are other numbers associated with the great players. And number 10, the number worn by the greatest player ever. Pelé made his first-class debut for his club Santos in the number 10 shirt, and throughout his brilliant career, playing in over 1,350 matches, he always wore number 10. In the study of the symbolic meaning of numbers, 10 is the creation. 10 is a decade, a rounding up and a completion before moving on. Send the ball into the net. As a matter of fact, FIFA instructed all its referees for the 1990 World Cup competition in Italy to come down heavily on cynical fouls committed to prevent a certain goal. If an attacker is clean through, making a run for goal and is fouled, the referee must send the offender off.